Hello everyone and welcome to Creature Archives. This is Survive, Adapt, Evolve, the series where we explore how creatures from both real life and fantasy might fare in entirely different worlds. Today we're examining InGen's ultimate hybrid, the Indominus Rex. But instead of Isla Nublar, we're dropping this hybrid into the perilous ecosystem of Ark Survival's The Island. Here it must navigate diverse environments, human conflict, and rival apex predators that dwarf anything it has ever faced before. To determine how well it would do, we'll evaluate the Indominus across 4 key categories: habitat adaptability, dietary compatibility, competition and predation, and reproductive success. Each will be rated out of 10, leading to a final survival score. And stick around after this because we'll also explore how the Indominus might evolve over time to better fit into this hostile food chain. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. So, could the Indominus Rex survive the dangers of Ark's Island? Or would it be outmatched by the giants that already rule this world? Let's find out on this episode of Creature Archives. Before we go any further, I should quickly state that for the purposes of this video, we will be treating the Indominus as a species capable of reproduction. While we don't know whether or not it actually could reproduce, for this analysis we'll assume it can. This isn't that far-fetched, as we've seen time and time again in the Jurassic franchise that genetically engineered dinosaurs are able to reproduce, even asexually, thanks to the inclusion of frog DNA. In fact, all of the dinosaurs in the Jurassic franchise are technically hybrids.
Nothing in Jurassic World is natural. We have always filled gaps in the genome with the DNA of other animals. And if their genetic code was pure, many of them would look quite different, but you didn't ask for reality. You asked for more teeth.
For this scenario, we'll be introducing a breeding population of Indominus onto Ark's Island, allowing us to evaluate how they would establish themselves as a species within its ecosystem. The Indominus Rex was designed in the labs of Jurassic World, and its brief home after escaping containment was Isla Nublar. This remote island, roughly 120 miles off the coast of Costa Rica, covers only 30 square miles, yet its rugged mountainous ridges create a surprising variety of ecological niches. Jungles, upland forest, and patches of grassland made it a humid tropical paradise, and it was here that the Indominus proved itself as a living weapon. It didn't just survive on Isla Nublar, it dominated. This was no accident. As Dr. Henry Wu explained, tree frog DNA was added to help it acclimate to a tropical climate. The island's climate and ecology were practically tailor-made for the hybrid, because it had literally been engineered to thrive in such warm, humid environments. Dense vegetation offered perfect cover, while its camouflage, stealth, and ambush tactics gave it a decisive edge. Ark's The Island mirrors this in many ways. Thanks to its artificial construction and precise weather control, it possesses a remarkable diversity of ecosystems: a snow biome, redwoods, swamps, mountains, grasslands, and most importantly, vast tropical forest. With much of the island dominated by jungles and open plains, Indominus would find expansive areas strikingly similar to its engineered niche. Dense forests and humid regions provide ideal cover for camouflage, while the towering redwoods and swamp vegetation also lend themselves to stealth. Even the grasslands, particularly along the forested edges, would become prime ambush territory, allowing Indominus to use open terrain for stalking while retreating into cover when needed. The only biome where it falters is the snow. Nothing in its genome suggests long-term cold weather adaptation, and while it might be able to endure short stays in frozen environments, it would struggle to establish any lasting populations here. However, this doesn't really matter. The sheer abundance of prime tropical, temperate, and mixed environments ensures the Indominus would have no shortage of territory to claim. This scores the Indominus Rex a habitat adaptability rating of 10 out of 10. On Isla Nublar, the Indominus Rex proved without a question that it was an apex predator unlike anything else in its environment. In its brief time on the loose, it displayed a terrifying combination of raw power, cunning, and adaptability. Using its dexterous forelimbs, immense strength, and camouflage abilities, it was able to ambush and kill almost any prey it wanted. It could slaughter armored dinosaurs by recognizing the need to flip them over to expose their vulnerable undersides, and it even managed to single-handedly kill multiple adult apatosauruses. That is no small feat. Jurassic World established their apatosaurus at up to 90 feet long and 76 tons, making them larger than most fossil reconstructions. And what makes this even more impressive is that the Indominus we see in the film wasn't even fully grown. It had spent its entire life confined to an enclosure with no prior hunting experience. Yet, it still dominated creatures many times its own size. A wild-born adult Indominus would be an entirely different monster. Estimates place its maximum size at around 55 feet long, 22 feet tall, and 10 tons in weight. Combined with a lifetime of real hunting experience, that animal would be smarter, stronger, and far more efficient at exploiting prey than the one we see in the film. In its natural environment, the Indominus would truly be unmatched. So, how does that translate to the island in Ark Survival Evolved? The first and most important difference is scale. While most of the Jurassic franchise's dinosaurs are comparable in size to their real-world counterparts, Ark throws those rules out the window. Some creatures like Ankylosaurus are actually a bit smaller, while others like Triceratops are relatively close in scale, but many are dramatically inflated. Ark's Stegosaurus is nearly twice the size of the fossil version. Brontosaurus dwarfs any sauropod seen in the Jurassic franchise or in real life, and Titanosaurus is scaled up into literal kaiju-sized territory. For the Indominus, this creates a clear divide in dietary options. The truly colossal creatures like adult Brontosaurus and Titanosaurs would be effectively off the menu. Even with its size, strength, and intelligence, the Indominus couldn't reliably bring down animals so absurdly massive. However, that still leaves an enormous buffet of prey within its range. Ornithopods like parasaurs and iguanodons, along with medium-sized herbivores such as Stegosaurus and Triceratops, would all be well within the Indominus's predatory range. The island also supports a variety of mammals that can be exploited. Paraceratherium, while massive, lacks strong defensive adaptations and would provide a substantial meal, while smaller mammals of the redwoods, such as Gigantopithecus and Megaloceros, would be easy pickings. And of course, the island is also home to humans. As we saw in the film, the Indominus has no hesitation feeding on people, and with its intelligence and bullet-resistant scales, it would pose a serious threat even to the most advanced tribes. The island provides more than enough prey within the Indominus' size range. With its intelligence, hunting adaptations, and sheer power, it would have no problem keeping itself fed. While the larger sauropods would remain out of reach, the abundance and diversity of mid-sized prey ensure it could thrive with ease. This scores the Indominus Rex a dietary compatibility rating of 9 out of 10. While the Indominus Rex is colossal by real-world standards, it would quickly realize that on Ark's island, size isn't always on its side. Thanks to Ark's scaling, many of the island's predators far exceed their fossil or Jurassic World counterparts. Creatures like the Rex and Spinosaurus can reach lengths of over 70 feet, and even medium-sized predators such as Allosaurus rival the Indominus in size. And of course, looming above them all is Ark's Giganotosaurus, the undisputed apex predator of the island. Among these rivals, the Rex would be a constant threat. In Jurassic World, Rexy was able to hold her own against an Indominus of similar size, and on the island, Rexes are scaled up far larger. These predators are also widespread, occupying the same habitats and hunting the same prey. A head-to-head fight would almost always end poorly for the Indominus, meaning it would have to rely on stealth and cunning to avoid constant costly confrontations. The Spinosaurus presents a similar danger. In Ark, Spinos are not only longer and stronger than the Indominus, but also thrive in aquatic environments. Fortunately, this semi-aquatic niche limits the overlap between the two. As long as the Indominus avoids swamps and major waterways, it could minimize direct conflict with Spinos. The Allosaurus, however, may be its most consistent competitor. Comparable in size, they would be directly competing for the same prey. While an Indominus would almost certainly be able to defeat a single Allo, on the island they rarely hunt alone. Allosaurus packs combine speed, coordination, and numbers to bring down prey that even the Indominus would hesitate to tackle. A lone Indominus facing a coordinated Allo pack could easily find itself overwhelmed. And then of course there's Ark's Giga. Any encounter with a Giga would be an immediate death sentence. At nearly 3 times the Indominus' length and vastly heavier, the sheer size difference makes direct conflict impossible. The Indominus' best option would be to avoid Giga territories entirely. Fortunately, their immense bulk and heavy movements would make them difficult to miss, and their distribution is largely confined to the mountainous regions. Despite being outclassed in raw size and strength by many of these apex predators, the Indominus possesses traits that none of them do. Camouflage allows it to vanish into dense vegetation to set up ambushes or to evade larger hunters. Infrared vision gives it the ability to track prey or detect threats even in complete darkness, and perhaps most importantly, its intelligence allows it to learn and adapt faster than any other predator on the island. It would quickly identify which rivals to avoid, what habitats to steer clear of, and how to manipulate its environment best to survive. But dinosaurs wouldn't be its only competition. The island is also home to humans, tribes of survivors who build settlements, tame dinosaurs, and carve out territory for themselves. For most predators, humans are dangerous adversaries, but for the Indominus, they would likely become prey. With its frightening intelligence, it could stalk human caravans, raid their settlements under cover of night, and exploit its camouflage to slip past defenses. It would likely learn travel routes, plan ambushes, and feast not only on the humans themselves, but also on their tamed dinosaurs and transported food supplies. Over time, it would cement itself as the single most feared predator by tribes on the island, not because it is the largest, but because it is the most unpredictable. Despite being outmatched in raw size by many of the island's top predators, the Indominus's intelligence, stealth, and adaptability give it a unique edge. It may not dominate the largest apex creatures outright, but it can survive, hunt effectively, and even become the most feared predator in human-populated areas. This scores the Indominus Rex a competition and predation rating of 7 out of 10. Assessing reproductive success for the Indominus Rex requires some assumptions, as Jurassic World only showed a single individual raised in captivity. We do know that the Indominus killed its sibling at a young age, which might suggest extreme aggression and possible cannibalism, but I think this more likely was a product of its stressful confined upbringing rather than an inherent trait of the species. In a natural environment, Indominus would likely be more capable of tolerating other of its kind. The film demonstrates its ability to communicate and cooperate, most notably in its temporary alliance with the velociraptors, suggesting that multiple individuals could not only coexist but potentially work together, particularly when raising offspring. Its genetic lineage further supports this. Both T-Rex and velociraptors in the franchise are shown in the movies to demonstrate extreme parental care. This makes it plausible that Indominus would reproduce in mated pairs, raising small clutches of highly protected offspring until they could fend for themselves. In addition to this, juveniles would have other survival advantages. Their color-changing camouflage would allow them to hide from the many predators, and their enhanced senses would allow them to detect threats early. Beyond camouflage, the cuttlefish actually contributes another advantage in reproduction. Dr. Wu stated that cuttlefish DNA was actually primarily added to facilitate accelerated growth. This means hatchlings would reach adulthood far faster than normal theropods, shortening the vulnerable period when they are most at risk. In some environments, such rapid growth could be a disadvantage if food resources were limited, but on the island, that isn't the case. With abundant food and attentive parental care, most Indominus juveniles would easily sustain this accelerated growth. Overall, while Indominus reproduction isn't without risk, its intelligence, parental care, camouflage, and rapid growth would give it a very strong edge. This scores the Indominus Rex a reproductive success rating of 9 out of 10. Weighing in all the factors, the Indominus Rex earns a Survive Adapt Evolve score of 8.75 out of 10. Its engineered physiology, intelligence, and hunting abilities make it perfectly suited to the island's tropical forests and grasslands. Abundant mid-sized prey and strong parental care ensure it thrives, while camouflage, enhanced senses, and rapid growth further boost its survival. The main limitations come from other apex predators. Rex's, Spinos, Allosaurus packs, and Giganotosaurus prevent it from dominating as an apex predator. Still, with its vast array of abilities, the Indominus would be more than capable of carving out a successful niche for itself. Before we dive into the speculative evolutions, I want to as always give a shout out to the amazing artist Delta Reaper 54. Most of the creature art you see on this channel, including the incredible speculative evolutions you're about to see, were created by him. So if you enjoy his art, be sure to go check out more of his work. His info will be in the description below. The Indominus was engineered to be the ultimate predator, but on the island, it quickly discovered a harsh truth. It was not the top of the food chain. By day, it was dwarfed by Rexes, rivaled by Giganotosaurus, and hounded by Allosaurus packs. Raw power was not enough to compete in a land already overflowing with monsters. So, it leaned into what made it different. Its cunning, its patience, and in this case, its enhanced senses. Where others were blind, the Indominus could see perfectly thanks to its infrared vision. And in those hours of darkness, it found a path to survival. Drawn to the colossal redwoods, it exploited a niche no other giant predator could. In the shadows of these towering trees, it learned to stalk like a panther, slipping low onto its forelimbs, spine flexing with every silent step. Claws and opposable like thumbs let it climb and cling to the trunks, turning the vertical forest into its hunting ground. From these pressures emerged something new, the Night Stalker. Shorter and more compact than its daylight rivals, Tenebris reaches around 40 feet in length and 12 to 13 feet at the shoulder when on all fours. Its body is built for agility with a shortened tail, panther-like stance, and velvety charcoal skin. Enlarged pupils and glowing eyeshine pierce the dark, and combined with its heat-sensing pits, they make this predator nearly impossible to ambush. In the redwoods, the Night Stalker reigns supreme. It hunts by patience and silence, either dropping from the canopy onto prey or tailing herds at ground level until the perfect ambush. Iguanodons, parasaurs, and pachyrhinos are its usual targets, though juveniles of larger species occasionally fall victim. Once a kill is made, it often hauls the carcass partway up a trunk, caching it where scavengers and other predators cannot follow. Unlike Rexes or Spinosaurus, Tenebris is not a loud territorial brawler. It avoids unnecessary fights, preferring to slip away into the shadows. Reproduction follows the same secretive pattern. Survivors speculate that females select dens within hollow trunks or caves, where hatchlings are guarded with aggression. Like their parents, young Tenebris are arboreal, able to climb early on to avoid ground predators. To the tribes of the island, Indominus tenebris is something closer to legend than animal. Its glowing eyeshine is said to stalk the edges of campfires, vanishing the moment a torch is raised. Hunters speak of half-eaten corpses discovered lashed into trees, grim warnings left high above their heads. The redwood tribes call it the ghost in the trees, a predator so stealthy and calculating that some claim it is not merely an animal, but the enraged spirit of the forest itself hunting them. Survivors unlucky enough to encounter one rarely live to tell the tale, and this lethality makes the idea of taming such a creature almost unthinkable. Still, there are whispers of a few survivors who have succeeded, not through brute force, but through stealth, patience, and respect. These rare tamers claim they had to shadow the Night Stalker through the redwoods, leaving offerings in its hidden caches and even mirroring its movements to earn its recognition. Those who ride a tame Night Stalker are regarded with both awe and dread. With its unmatched intelligence, silence, and ability to vanish into the canopy, no fortress can rest easy knowing one of these beasts moves under the command of a rival tribe. The Indominus was born to rule, but even its engineered strength meant little in the hostile ecosystems of the island. In the tropical jungles and grasslands, it was matched or outclassed by rexes, aloes, and other predators. Yet in the far north, where the snow never melts and the cold drives most predators away, it found a kingdom waiting to be claimed. In these frozen wastes, survival favors the coordinated and the relentless. Its cunning and intelligence gave it an edge over the native hunters of the tundra. It studied Indominus and Carnotaurus packs, learning from their strategies, before turning those same tactics against them. Where they saw rivals, it saw an opportunity. From these trials emerged Indominus borealis, the white howler. Towering at nearly 20 feet tall and stretching to 70 feet long, Borealis is one of the largest predators on the island. Its stocky, muscular build is cloaked in white and gray plumage that conceal it in storms. Short-horned crests crown its skull, features eerily reminiscent of Carnotaurus. Broad padded feet give it traction on ice, while powerful forelimbs can grapple prey or dig through snowdrifts to flush out hidden animals. The white howler rules the tundra through dominance and coordination. Once grown, it actively seeks out Indominus-led Carnotaurus packs, killing the Indominus in violent duels and then taking its place as alpha. Thanks to its own Carnotaurus DNA, it communicates with the horned predators in ways no Indominus could. Where Indominus once ruled by intimidation, Borealis commands by comprehension, turning scattered packs into disciplined hunting guilds. Together they drive mammoths, woolly rhinos, and megaloceros into deep snow or blinding storms before moving in for the kill. Its long, deep howl carries for miles across the ice, serving both as a rallying cry to its pack and a warning to rivals. Mated pairs raise offspring communally within their controlled packs, ensuring greater survival for their young. The white howler entrusts Carnotaurus with guarding its hatchlings, using their vigilance and aggression as living shields. Juveniles often begin by shadowing Carnotaurus in hunts, learning discipline and coordination, before eventually striking out on their own to seize a pack for themselves. Few predators challenge the white howler, and fewer still survive when they do. Indominus, once dominant in the north, have been reduced to lower-tier predators. Even rexes rarely brave the snow now, leaving the tundra a realm virtually unchallenged. To those who traverse the northern waste, the white howler is a living avalanche of terror. Its howls roll across the tundra like a storm made flesh, signaling both its presence and its dominion. The northern tribe known as the Howling Wolves claim to have mastered what no other could, taming this apex predator. According to their traditions, a survivor must craft a horn from the skull of a defeated white howler, using its resonance to mimic the creature's own call. With this, they may approach without being torn apart, but to prove themselves worthy, they must aid the beast in dethroning a rival Indominus that leads a Carnotaurus pack. Only then, through blood and conquest, will the white howler accept them as co-alpha. Those who succeed command not just a single predator, but an entire army of Carnotaurus at its back. In the frozen north, there is no greater show of power. In the wilds of the island, raw power alone is not always enough. The edges of the jungles and the sweeping plains are dominated by fierce predators, and lone predators rarely succeed against such coordinated forces. To survive, some Indominus began experimenting with teamwork, relying on intelligence and cooperation. Others leaned into their unusual skin traits, which allowed them to subtly shift color and pattern. Over time, these pressures combined, producing a species unlike any other, Indominus duplicus, the Painted Deaths. Slightly leaner than the original Indominus, duplicus reach about 50 to 55 feet in length and stand roughly 17 to 18 feet tall at the shoulder. Its body is sleek and muscular, built for bursts of speed across open plains and agile maneuvers in dense jungles. Its long, flexible tail provides perfect balance for rapid pivots, and its forelimbs are dexterous enough to pin or grapple prey. Small cranial crests flash during hunting, signaling silently to its partner, while tufts of feathers along its head and forearms accentuate movements, helping with communication and adding another layer to its dazzling camouflage. But the most striking feature remains its skin, a living canvas of constantly shifting patterns. The painted deaths hunt exclusively in pairs. One predator will ripple with patterns and colors, distracting and disorienting prey, while the second closes in from the side or behind, striking with precise timing. This cooperative strategy allows them to take down a large range of prey, anything from iguanodons and parasaurs to juvenile rexes and allosaurus. Their intelligence is remarkable. They anticipate prey reactions, adjust patterns dynamically, and communicate subtly with each other using crest flashes, feather movements, postures, and low vocalizations. They are fiercely territorial in prime hunting zones. A bonded pair can display solitary rexes or small allosaurus groups, dominating a patch of forest edge or plains. Their lean builds, flexible tails, and feather arms allow them to weave through dense foliage or sprint across open ground with terrifying efficiency. Reproduction is similarly coordinated. Mated pairs are believed to hunt together and raise offspring cooperatively, teaching the young both stealth and precision before they strike out on their own. Few have witnessed the painted deaths and lived to describe the experience. Those who do speak of a predator that seems to vanish and shimmer at will, leaving nothing but confusion and dread in its wake. Taming one is extraordinarily difficult. Survivors who claim success rely on mimicry, by using painted hides, reflective surfaces, or bioluminescent dyes to echo the shifting patterns of the pair. A tamer signals they are no threat, and may even be a partner. From there, trust is earned over countless hours spent shadowing the pair during hunts, moving in perfect synchrony, and participating in staged kills without ceasing control. Only through patience, respect, and precise imitation will the painted deaths accept a human presence. Those who succeed command not just a single predator, but a bonded pair capable of executing coordinated ambushes with uncanny timing and precision. Together they turn the jungle and plains into a lethal stage, where no herd is safe and no hunter can predict their strikes. Thanks for watching this episode of Survive, Adapt, Evolve. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss any future content. If you want to further support the channel, consider becoming a YouTube member today. Not only will you help support me in making the best quality content I can, but you'll also gain early access to videos, sneak peeks at upcoming videos, and access to the members-only section of the CreatureArchives Discord. And a special thanks to all my current members. Your support means the world and keeps this channel thriving. Until next time, stay curious, and I'll see you all in the next video.